It's like the whole class wasn't getting above 80. Not like we're not good, but
Come on.
You get it.
Nothing people can show me. My nigga. They showed me.
blocks are like the exams. So there are 7 pre-clinical and there's clinical years.
It's also 6 years because we're actually earning 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not 1 degree we're actually earning.
Oh, really?
Yes.
One of the past questions is like, all die, be die. One is like, book of life.
Wow.
One is like, orthopedics, dito. What brings you to the hospital here?
I have chest pain.
Which part of your chest?
So it's at the center of my chest.
And how long has it been?
So it started like 5 hours ago.
5 hours ago. What did you do about it?
So I remember back in secondary school, one of the most feared subjects was science. I remember myself, when I was given visual art and then I didn't want to do visual art. That story is a story for another day. I'll tell you someday. But they gave me visual art. I didn't want to do visual art. And the only option available, if I wanted to change, was science. I said, okay, I'll do my visual art. And this science, I mean, we've heard is the subject you would have to study if you want to become a doctor. Today, I have 2 wonderful doctors who just graduated from, medical school in the building. We are going to have a conversation about how difficult or how easy it is or what it was for them to, study medicine right here in Tamale. My name is Prince Amdan, Prince Amdan's podcast. Let's get into the conversation. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, boys.
Hey, you guys, you be sharks, so. This one, they be macho doctor.
The gym doctor.
Charlie, don't be now cry. As I said in my intro, medicine, science is something a lot of people fear so much. A lot of students. How easy was it for you to, get into medicine? How easy was it for you to say that, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to become a medical doctor. And then you went in there and you killed it and you came out clean.
Okay, for me, I went to Notre Dame Senior High School.
Okay.
And I really told myself that I wanted to be a doctor.
Wow.
And my parents were like, oh, yeah, that's a good choice. So
Uh-huh.
I was like, fine. So I liked science. So that was easier. I think when you also like it too, it's easier.
It's easier.
So after WASI and everything, and I had UDS medical school, the first year in UDS was like how I imagined. Hey, it was not
different.
easy.
Pressure,
Everyone, people from science and math quiz are your classmates.
Wow.
People who have done this and this are your classmates.
That be where all
it
the
was just
sharks
whole
they were.
challenging and the pressure.
Yeah.
It wasn't as easy
wasn't
as
easy.
I thought because I thought, it's just science, biology, physics, and chemistry. But this one is more like people you are studying anatomy, you're doing physiology, pharmacology, all the ecologies.
Wow.
It wasn't as easy as
can
I
imagine.
thought, but
It was
it was okay. It was okay.
How about yourself?
Well, personally for me too, as far as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a doctor.
Wow.
But then, the thing was, I've not really had it smooth. Since I've not always been a straight A or an excellent student. I've had my shares of failures and everything, especially back in GSS, I think, junior high. Exactly. I had issues with my academics, but then at a point I was like, Charlie, if that's what you really want to get yourself into, you really have to sit down and actually put in the work, you understand?
Yeah.
So I had my first share, and then I don't know what happened, but then from GSS 3, I don't know if my studying strategy changed or whatever, but then God was very good to me, and then it has been a smooth, sailing from there. I went to Accra Academy, blow. I went to Accra Academy, and
Accra boys.
Yes, sir, how we do? So straight from Accra Academy and then to UDS, and UDS is a whole different story.
Wow.
As my colleague said,
you
probably think, you're an excellent student, so you probably think you'll be topping the class and everything, but Charlie,
It was humbling.
it's different. It's actually humbling.
Wow.
It's actually humbling. But then, God has been good.
Before we get into the UDS story, I'd like you to introduce yourself. So, people will get to know you more.
First.
All right. So I am Dr. Angela Wumpini Sulemana.
Wow.
Yes.
So I am Dr. Gbekokra Onugoswe.
Wow. So talking about, you wanting to become a medical doctor and also, from the start, you knew what you wanted to be. Did that make it easier than somebody who, just found themselves in, science and they had to do it, or somebody whose parents, forced them to do science or to become doctors?
Oh yeah, I think it made it easier because I had mates of mine that didn't have the interest and they had to stop.
Wow.
Yes, and
Wow.
others too started just halfway, then they stopped. So we don't understand why. So I think maybe from the interest,
The passion wasn't there.
it's easier. Yeah, it's easier.
Yes, so I mean, as she just said, it's the passion makes it easier to be honest, because it's actually overwhelming. Medical school is so overwhelming,
Wow.
and even those not in the field actually see how overwhelming it is, especially when they come to the hospital to see how the doctors work. I mean, you had to work basically from Monday to
Yeah.
Sunday, morning to evening. Sometimes you do like 3 days straight. Sometimes you do like 24 hours straight. So like from then, if you have the passion for it already, it makes it actually easier. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned about how UDS has been or is a story on its own.
Yes, sir. It is.
What are some of the stories you would want to share?
So back in Notre Dame, I was topping my
Topping the class.
When I came to UDS medical school, I said it was really humbling.
Wow.
I wasn't even getting 80s. I wasn't getting 70s because the pass mark is 50.
Wow.
And you're actually happy you passed.
But you
Because
want
if
to take it.
You want to move
just like you
further.
were doing back at.
Exactly. It's like the whole class wasn't getting above 80. Not like we're not good, but the program wouldn't make you get that much.
Yeah.
It was quite challenging. I was feeling sad, and my parents didn't understand why, for a straight A student, medicine should be easy for you. But then you're scoring like a D, C, B, but the A,
It's not coming.
it's not coming.
I mean,
It's not like you are not trying. You try.
Yeah,
hard.
try your
It will
best.
come.
Even the exams you write, that a full pass question drops, you don't get an A, you don't get a B, you get a C.
Wow.
So I just didn't know how things were playing out. But
I mean, it's just the same as she said. Because personally, I mean, I had 8As back in secondary school.
Wow.
As I said, I don't know what happened from GSS 3, but like from there it has been like smooth sailing until university.
there's always an until.
Until university, I say the experience is humbling. Hey.
Wow.
I mean, you come, you're like, nonchalant. You're just like, okay, I mean, I know I'm an excellent student.
Yeah,
so
man.
like, come on.
You get
There's
it.
nothing people can show
Yeah.
me. My nigga, they showed me.
They show the show worker.
I swear, they actually showed me.
Wow.
But then, I mean, you actually learn to adapt, and that's the nice.
Yeah.
That's the nice part of it. I mean, you just have to tell yourself that okay, you know what you want long term.
Long term, yeah.
Yes, so you just have to just hang on until the
Yeah.
very end. I think that was just the driving force. Yeah.
There's this perception that is only like brilliant students who can do become doctors or who can do medicine. Is it true or is just
No, I don't think it's entirely true.
okay?
Because you have people that didn't get straight A's, didn't get 7 A's, 6 A's. Probably they had 4 A's with some B's, but they were able to get to medical school through maybe connection.
Okay.
Those students also do very well.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So I don't think it's just an excellent person. Yes. It's not just for the intelligence.
How about you?
Yeah, so basically, as she said, I don't think it's mainly just for like excellent students. I actually think it's more for people that actually know what they want
What
and
they
actually
want
want
to
to
do.
get into it.
Yeah.
You will survive, trust me. Because we have people in our class we've had people in our class that you'll be surprised you're actually learning something together, and you're actually surprised you don't actually get what you're actually studying because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just there, like this is just it. Why are you not getting it? It
Getting
doesn't
it.
really make sense. But then, I mean, there are doctors right now, and they are actually good, especially clinically. They are good with their hands. You understand? So there's a whole atmosphere of things to learn and things to fish from.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's if you have the passion for it, honestly, you can really do it.
Wow.
Yes, the
But-
bottom line is the passion.
The passion, Charlie. But science hard though.
Oh yes,
Yes,
that one.
it's hard.
But we had passed.
We had passion. Exactly.
Wow.
We had
Any more like stories you want to share from
Oh, yes.
UDS?
For me, there was one major exam. I think 2.2. It's musculoskeletal. You're learning the muscle, you're learning the bones, the nerves, and a whole lot. That was the exam that when I was done and they took the paper, I was like, English, just let me look up my paper one more time to see if I shaded it wrong. So when I came back to my room, I was just praying. I was like, God, I beg this one, I
This
beg you. Because everyone
Just
that
do it
comes to
for
the
me.
medical school, that's the blog they keep complaining
2.2.
about.
2.2.
They complain about it. So I was like, God, just this one. Even if you let me feel any other,
But
not this
yeah,
one.
Thank you.
It wasn't easy. No, I was just praying. When the results came, I didn't get an A. I didn't get a B. I got a C. And you say, oh, C is, but then that was just what I was praying for. Actually, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But now we thought that would be the most challenging block.
Yeah,
We came,
but, hey.
went to clinical here. We met other difficult blocks,
Very
and then when I sit down and look at the musculoskeletal, I was like, we could have just done it.
I would have actually done it, like looking back, you know. Yeah. So I think for me to one major experience actually stuck with me was, so back in school, I think I actually threw the block. That was my end of year. I've never failed in my life. I think like you know what the girl says in my family, we don't feel.
You don't feel in the blood.
Yes, in my family we don't feel. But apparently that was actually a humbling experience. Why? Because I thought everything was like could be smooth sailing.
Yeah.
I feel like I actually figured everything out, but apparently God had his own plans. So I feel like that was actually an end of year exams in the sense that it is not a block exam. So we write blocks, like 7 blocks in a year, and then we climax it with an end of year exam. So you have to study all the blocks you studied for the whole year and write like a final exams on all those blocks. That was like a major block I actually threw. That's my first time failing. And God, that was the only time I failed too. God is good though. But I feel like that experience actually stuck with me in the sense that it actually showed me not to be like too confident with what I know too much. Just stick with the basics and actually just be humble with the things you know and just try to, just rely on God more too. Because I was telling myself that there's no way I'll fail in medical school. There's no way I'll fail. But I actually failed. And then, yes, it's actually helped me. I'm actually grateful for the fact that I actually thrilled my end of year exams. The reset I passed by God's grace. But then it made me re-strategize my studying strategy and actually made me way better, to be honest. It made me very,
rather
very
than
better.
making you overcomplacent.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Humbling.
It's very humbling.
Yeah. Okay.
So we mentioned blocks. Blocks are like the exams. So there are 7 preclinical and there's clinical year. So preclinical year is like 3 years. Then you do 3 years clinical year. So the preclinical year is 7 blocks, 7 exams. So every 4 weeks, 4
Every
weeks,
single
4
4
weeks,
weeks.
or sometimes 5 weeks or 6
Every
weeks.
single
You're writing
You write an
exams.
exam.
Every
So
single
whilst
4
your
weeks.
other friends in
Out
other
chilling.
programs are out chilling, sending
You have to go and
tricks,
study and write.
you are reading, because if you don't read it, it won't be funny at all. Yes, then we have an end of year exam where you write everything you have done in the whole year plus a clinical side to it. So that's kind of packed nature, yes.
Wow.
And you can't actually afford to fail more than 3 times. You get sacked from the school.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes, you get
Yes.
sacked from the school.
Ah,
Because
the-
we've actually
the-
had colleagues who are actually had to stop.
If you
for-
fail the blocks,
if you fail the
Yeah.
block
For
three
3 times?
yes,
Yeah, I
you can't
think
you can't continue the education.
Wow.
You have to stop.
wow.
Yeah. So it
So if
it
you
was
also-
that
yeah.
it was that weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if you write the receipts and then you don't pass, then they
Yeah, done.
repeat you.
Yeah, they repeat you.
They
Yeah.
repeat you. So
But why
it's-
is medicine so difficult? And I understand you have to study for 7 or is it 8 years?
It's now 6
it's now
years.
6
6
years.
years,
Why is it 6 years and the others are 4 years?
yeah.
So
It's a lot of training, Bruno. Yes, a lot
a
of
lot of
training.
training.
So you
Okay.
can't. You're dealing with human lives,
Yeah,
right?
that's
You can't
true.
use 4 years to study a whole
How to-
human
yeah,
being. Yes, it's only God who used a day to
I
create
swear, only him.
but you can't use
Yeah. And
4 years to
years
just
to-
study humans like that. No, you need to know the basis of human beings. You need to know the composition of people. So you need to study well and understand. And it's a spiral. You keep coming across the same thing you're studying. That way you don't forget again.
That's true.
But if it's something like the other programs you learn for a year, then you never go back to
If
it
you
again.
even forget, no
But,
wahala.
you
but
know.
you can't afford to
Yeah,
forget.
You can't afford.
It will cost you. So you just can't afford to forget.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the whole thing is it's also 6 years because we're actually earning 2 degrees.
Oh, okay.
It's not 1 degree we're actually earning.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's actually 2
Oh,
degrees.
okay.
So we earn a degree for our pre-medical sciences and then we earn a degree for our MBCHB. Exactly. So it's 2 degrees. Yeah.
Okay, wow. And we also understand that we just don't have one kind of doctor. We have different kind of doctors, probably surgeon and those kind of stuff.
Yes.
Can you like kind of let us understand when you go to medical school, do you study all? And then you get to probably your final years, then you specialize, or from day one you just specialize in one area.
No.
Okay.
So the whole 6 years, you're doing everything.
Okay.
So the clinical year, you're doing obs and gynae, that's about women.
Okay.
You do pediatrics, that's about children. You do
Okay.
ophthalmology, that's the eye, ear, nose, and throat,
Wow.
anesthesia, and a whole lot,
internal
yes. Then
medicine
internal
and
medicine and surgery. And then for the surgery, there's a breakdown. There's general surgery, there's orthopedics, there's urology, there's neurosurgery, thoracic and plastic surgery. you learn it as a general something,
from
right?
the beginning.
So after 6 years, when you practice, do your housemanship for 1 or 2 years, 2 years, I mean, then you can now decide, oh, this is, when I was doing this rotation, I like this. Or when I was practicing as a medical doctor, this is the rotation I like.
Okay.
Then you now major in it, you
Major,
now
okay.
specialize
Okay.
in it.
Okay.
But as a student, you are just a general
Doctor.
doctor, yes. When you finish, just a general doctor.
Okay. Then it's after you start,
You start working.
working, then you can
you can
go and
actually
specialize and be a
specialize.
special. Okay. Wow. That's amazing. Wow. So tell us how, you felt when you like finally knew that tomorrow you are graduating, you are finishing your everything. You are not going to worry yourself about learning or writing exams.
The feeling, my classmate kept putting 47 days left to.
The catalyst.
I didn't know whether it was helping me or was worsening it. Because when I see 47, I'm like, hey, God, I'm not done.
Right.
And then they'll be dropping plenty past questions.
Questions, yeah.
Then someone will be like, one of the past questions is like, all die be die. One is like, book of life.
Wow.
One is like, orthopedics dito.
Wow.
So if someone asks you, have you solved the orthopedic dito? You solve them. I'm like, you send it again.
Oh,
so
God.
one document, I can have it like 40, and I wouldn't
Right,
know that I have it because
exactly.
there are so
Yeah.
many of
Sending
them.
it from different angles.
It wasn't funny, and I couldn't study alone in my room like how I used to do over the years. So I had to go to my classmate's place to study with her. So if I even sleep, she'll be like, "Oh, wake me up in 5 minutes." Then we'll be waking ourselves up and practicing on ourselves because it's a whole lot. You can't do it on your own. You need somebody to help you.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks to the exams, I was like, God, on this day I know I'll finish, but then the
The
process.
day is not coming.
Not coming.
Then our results came on a Thursday, right? We
Yeah,
finished
we
school on a
finished on
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wow.
So we know that the next day is going to be
Yeah.
when you know whether you be a doctor.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'm going to fast. I'm going to pray. I'm just going to do anything. I said, I'm going to thank God
Yes.
only in my prayers. Then the prayers, I ended up praying and asking God, I
Oh,
beg you,
I
because
beg,
sometimes
I
I'm going
beg.
to thank you. I'm like, I just can't fail this
I
exam,
beg, I
so
beg.
people know me too much. I don't know how about
I mean, personally, I was actually more excited about finishing school. Yeah, I think that was the whole thing. I was actually very excited. I mean, although I was anxious about the whole results thing,
Yeah.
and I was so grateful for the fact that I finally, finished 6 years of my medical, career
Wow.
or degree.
Wow.
Because it's been a long ride, man. It's been a very long ride. And my mom actually came from Accra to surprise me on the Wednesday we actually finished the exams.
Wow.
I was happy, but I was hot. I was actually hot. I'm like, mommy is here. The results is
You
coming
gotta
the
let that
next
get
day.
into your head.
Hey, yeah, I mean, it was a bad thing to think about, but it actually got to me too. Because I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what if? You
Yeah.
can never be too sure.
Too-
Medical
yeah.
school is weird.
Yeah,
You can never be too
exactly.
sure about. I mean, you've done your part.
Yeah.
Yes, but a lot
Anything can happen,
goes
yeah.
into the
Yeah.
whole results process and everything. So I was so like, hey, mommy, they okay, vim day. So the next day, I think they released the results on Thursday, and I saw the thing. Hey, my heart skipped. The thing was, I was trying to download the result from the page. It wasn't downloading. I don't know
Like-
whether it was my network. My mom was like, how far? I was like, the thing is not downloading. I don't know if it's my network. So I had to airplane mode. I did airplane mode a lot of times.
Oh, God.
Finally being able to like download the result. Usually when I'm checking my result, I check the whole column.
Yes.
I make sure I don't see any F on the whole column. Then
Column.
before I go to my name and I check my results. As when I checked mine, I saw some red. But that was like on my column. I saw some red. I was like, hey, why is there red in this thing? But then I went to mine now and
Yeah.
I realized, Charlie, everything went
Everything
on
was
smooth by
fine.
God's grace. I was so
Wow.
happy.
Later.
Then my mom started call was, hey, my son is down. Oh. He has passed. He's now a doctor. I'm like, mommy, calm down.
Madness.
I'm like, calm down. Yes, it was a
Wow.
very, very nice experience. to be
Me, I
honest.
was screaming for someone because one of my friends had a visa interview and passed.
Wow.
So I was screaming on the day of the results. Not knowing the other rooms, they had already checked their results.
Results, yeah.
And they thought that's why I was
Yeah,
screaming.
screaming,
yeah.
So when I came out, I was like, oh, this my friend got the visa. Then they were like, I thought it's the results. I said, the results. And I was sitting, I couldn't even open the WhatsApp. I was struggling. Then when I finally opened it, I was like, God.
Right.
Till I got to my son, I was like, hey.
Yeah.
So God, you're going to make me pass. And you made me
That's
struggle
true.
like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah.
Talking about visas, there's this recent issue that a lot of people have been very concerned about, where like doctors are, leaving the country like crazy. Like, what do you make of that? Are you guys also going to leave?
Well, the thing is, a lot goes into this whole brain drain thing. It's a multifactorial sort of thing.
Issue, yeah.
Stems from the whole government thing, stems from the whole medical board, the direction and everything. So at the end of the day, it's an individual decision. If the quality of service, the pay is not up to standard, and you're even soliciting for more, but then apparently the government is not really hidden to what you're actually needing, then that's why you actually have people actually getting out of the country. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of people are actually leaving, especially the nurses. Not even the doctors.
I know.
Most of the nurses are actually like going
crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Because apparently there's a page people are on
where the
trying
opportunities
to leave the country. There are a whole lot of people on that page,
and not even only doctors and nurses, but even the common people. I mean, out there,
true.
almost a lot of people are just eager to leave the
true.
country and all of that, which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But let me come to you. I know you are a content creator,
Ooh,
and also, I mean, studying medicine and all of that.
molecules.
Yes, please, guys, you have to go and subscribe to her channel.
Happy molecules.
She's a content creator. She's a YouTuber and also a doctor now.
Come on.
Happy Molecules. So check her out on YouTube. She's doing amazingly well on YouTube.
Yeah.
How were you managing? Like, you'd have to be creating content, which is not also easy.
At all.
Like, it's not easy to create. I know how difficult it is.
Right.
And now combining it with medical school and all of that. How were you able to manage?
Yes, so basically I use my classmates to create content.
Okay.
So when we even have group studies, I'll film them. They'll be like, "Oh, you like that?"
Like
and I'm
that.
like,
People
"But so
want
where
to-
am I going to get the content
Like-
from?" Okay, and the other times when the rotation is less challenging, I'm saying, okay, I can actually use this and then plan. So whenever I'm hanging out, I have a girls in my class where we usually celebrate birthdays. So when we go to this restaurant, I'll film. When we go to this and celebrate, I'll film. So I figured like, okay, well, I can't do any giddy content in medical school, but I can use my mates for the content. So maybe when I'm
to give
done,
that experience.
then I can probably think deeply into
see what you can
and see what I can do. Yes. So it was just basically my classmates. The same people now in the restaurants, the same people I'll film when I go out. Yes.
Yeah. Are you also into content?
So yeah, sort of. I think on Snapchat more.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So as you say, I'm actually a fitness enthusiast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think I
can
started
see.
my
Can
bodybuilding
see.
career at about 3 years now.
Wow.
Back in medical school.
Wow.
The whole stress was way too much, and honestly, everyone should go to the gym. It's stress relieving. It's actually it's therapeutic. I'm not gonna lie.
then I have
It's
to- I
like
have
my
to.
coping mechanism in medical school. It was my coping mechanism in medical school because my colleagues are like, you're in school. What are you doing with the gym? I wish you go and stay there and stay in gym. What are you doing with the gym? Come on, I know what gym has done for me personally, but yeah. So most of the time, I'm actually putting my content out on Snapchat more. Exactly, and I know what it's actually getting for me because yes, it's been very beneficial. I actually got a lot of things from that. Yeah. So honestly, it's content creation has actually it's actually a good thing. I'm not gonna lie, and of course, medical students can also create.
Yeah.
It's not a barrier. It's
How
definitely not a barrier.
are we able to manage it?
So the thing is, I go to the gym about 4 to 45 times in a week,
Wow.
excluding exams week.
Okay.
I mean, so if I have exams, I could stay away from the gym for like about a month, a whole month. Why? Because it's the school that brought me here first. I can't throw my exams and go and
just
now be
because,
gym. It doesn't make sense. So when it's time for exams, I just leave the whole gym thing and I just focus on my exams. Yeah, and I've been doing that, and I'm a doctor now. So go to the
It worked.
It worked. It did.
I'm talking about doctors creating content. I think there's nothing wrong with it.
There
isn't.
It's just a matter of being able to manage your schedule. Because I know this guy Ali Abdal, who is who was a doctor but also creating content.
Wow.
Now he has even stopped
Medical-
and he's
you see?
just creating content on the regular. And he started with just like what you are doing. I mean, talking about medical school and challenges and how people could get into medical school. And he came out, he started doing productivity stuff. Now he has a podcast.
Wow.
Like he's big. He has millions of subscribers on YouTube, and he manages a couple of a business with a couple of people that work under him, and like he pays them and all of that. So content can actually be rewarding, especially when you find yourself at the right place. One of the things that a lot of people are also fascinated about is the fact that now we have a lot of very young doctors. Some few years ago, before you see a doctor, like he's great. But now everywhere there are young, very young doctors. What has changed?
Well, that's very funny. Honestly, it's true because I remember my cousin, my little sister actually broke her leg.
Oh.
And the doctor that attended to her was an elderly man. I'm like, oh, God. Yes. So I don't know what has changed. I can't answer that question. But I know that people are, I don't know, coming into, a lot of people are coming to the medical school. Or because there are also new buildings that train and medicine students for medicine. Because there's KNUST, there's a private university. So more people are getting the exposure to it.
Then I think it's also has to do with industrialization and modernization. In the sense that people really understand the essence of education now, more importantly. So, I mean, they actually pay more attention to their awards, parents-wise, pay attention to their awards, actually getting the best of education as fast as possible. Exactly. Unlike back in the days where why don't you go to the family? What are you doing with school? But I mean, modernization and industrialization actually opened the eyes of our parents, which is very, very good.
And I think it's very true because before, there are a lot of parents who, I mean, felt that the child had to even go to training college before just to be able to sustain yourself.
Exactly.
And you see a lot of these people, they didn't want to go to training college. They want to be doctors, but they had to follow what their parents. So it ended up delaying the cycle. Of them going through. I think that's very true.
And I think also because doing medicine will give you like a ready job. So people advise their ward that don't do this program because if you do it, you might sit in the house for 2 to 3 years. So come and do medicine. So when they start, some get the passion alongside. Some, they just.
I also think it also has to do with accessibility. Now it's more accessible. A few years before now, UDS wasn't here.
No.
So to get to a school like this, you had to go to what's the name?
Travel all the way.
Exactly, before you be able to study medicine and all. One issue of concern that a lot of people have been having or complaining about is the fact that when people go to hospital, most especially nurses, the level of should I say concentration or the level of focus they give to patients is actually not there, especially with young nurses and some of the doctors. Would you say it's because of youthful exuberance that some of these nurses behave, the way some of them behave? Not all of them. There are some of these young doctors that are very professional, and when they take care of you, before you even start taking the medication, you already feel a sense of healing. But there are some that, when you go to the hospital, you just don't they don't make you feel like, going to the hospital anytime you are sick.
Well, I think
because coming from the earlier question that we have, we now have a lot of young people who are in the hospitals, and an elderly person would be more, knows what they are doing more than a younger person, because most of the young people, you even go and somebody is doing like Snapchat and all of these things on, and the patient is waiting.
Okay, so I think it's more of an attitudinal problem. Because professionally we are taught ethics and we are taught how to behave. We know what we should do and what we shouldn't do. So this one, I think because things are changing, everything is more like social media. So the social media in the workplace, the social media everywhere. So I think it's the person's own attitude, because it's not everyone. So that's why I can't generalize.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so for me, I have two takes for this issue. One with the health workers, we ourselves, and then one for the patients themselves. So the thing is, as health workers, the driving force to actually really utilizing your given talent in the field is just mainly the passion. If you go inside the profession with purely passion, honestly, no matter how strenuous, no matter how difficult it is, you actually become with your patients, no matter what. There'll be times,
it to go overboard.
Exactly, but you will still get manage, bring yourself back into it, which is the thing. So usually, I think it's those who literally just are like, I just need a job after school. And on nursing too, I mean, to some extent, you also get a ready job after school.
Yeah.
So it feels like, okay, let me just go into
It's a
nursing
job
and just
factor.
it's a job factor. Let me
Not
just go into
necessarily the
exactly
passion,
not
yeah.
necessarily passion. Let me just go into it and just get the job and probably think about something else. So they don't really put their heart into the work. And also the patients. Some patients are really difficult. I'm not gonna lie. They over exaggerate their experiences at the hospital. I mean, the nurse is probably busy doing something else, and then you're actually thinking the nurse is not probably
Doing
paying
anything.
attention to you.
Yeah.
You just have to, be calm sometimes. You understand? So that's what I think is it goes either ways. Yeah.
Amazing. So what was UDS your first time coming to Tamale when you were coming to medical school?
We are actually Tamale
We're
based.
Tamale based.
Oh, really?
I grew up in
Yes.
Tamale.
But he ran away.
I ran away.
You ran
after
away
four
back,
years.
okay.
I ran
Yes.
away after GSS.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad got transferred out.
Oh,
But I
okay.
basically lived. I went part of my primary Tamale. I
Oh
went
wow!
to GSS
Then
in Tamale.
I have
Shout out
nothing
to
to
Central
say.
International.
Where?
Central
Central.
Lyceum.
Okay. So what's your favorite Northern food?
So I like Palugu jollof.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually like Palugu
The Jollof Squad.
I like Palugu
How
jollof.
are you
I'm even now thinking about
about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
well, I don't know.
You know?
Yeah, I don't have one I hate.
Okay.
What I don't
Nice,
like
okay.
is bra soup.
Bra,
But any other
okay.
thing I'm
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
okay. Wow. Amazing. So from here you are now. You guys are doctors.
Yeah.
Like-
What do you have to tell young people who also dream or aspire to become doctors just like you? Maybe they are still in senior high school. They are watching you. What do you have to tell them?
Okay, well, I think if medicine is their interest, they should go for it. I mean, everybody's experiences are different. Vona and I will say, oh, this our journey was a bit challenging. Somebody from KUSC probably had it smooth or smoother.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
just go for it if you are interested. Yes, keep your mind open
Okay.
for all the possibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So as my colleague, as my colleague said, I think one of the things I actually regret in this life is not going for the things I actually wanted to do. Yes. So yes, honestly, I actually regret not doing some things I actually told myself I'll actually do. So you should literally just go for what you actually want to do. I mean, what could go wrong? You would just fail, but you could literally try again. You understand? So just go for it. If it's medicine you want to do, go for it. People have been through medical school. People are doctors. People are great surgeons right now. They're probably worse in medical school than you would ever be. People are through medical school. They are better than you, fine. But then people are there. They are worse. We're way worse than you, but then they've done it. They've made it. So yeah, you'll be in between the spectrum, and you can definitely do it. So if that's what you want, but then generally just go for what you want to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
How I want to understand, like when somebody is sick and they come to the hospital, what process do you take them through
This one, my colleague will kill
to
it,
be
bro.
able to
Yeah.
know that okay, this is what is actually wrong with you,
Come on.
and this is your remedy.
All right, so we have something we call clacking.
Okay.
Clacking is you take the person's history,
Okay.
details of or the chronology of the illness, and also you examine the person. So let me just demonstrate with
Okay.
my colleague here. So please, what's your name?
My name is Gosway.
Please, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Are you married?
No,
or
I'm not
single?
married.
Okay, where do you stay?
Still everything.
Are you a Christian or a Muslim?
I'm a Christian.
All right, so what brings you to the hospital here?
I have chest pain.
Which part of your chest?
So it's at the center of my chest.
And how long has it been?
So it started like 5 hours ago.
5 hours ago. What did you do about it?
So I actually rested and it went away, but then it has come back again.
Come back.
Yeah.
Does the chest pain go in to any part of your body? Maybe to your jaw, to
Yeah,
your
it radiates
shoulder?
to my jaw and then to the back of my shoulder.
So on a scale of 1 to 10,
I'll give it an 8 on 10.
8 on 10. So that's basically what we do. So you ask details of to know exactly, because there are so many conditions that
With the
present
similar-
with chest
Yeah.
pain. So you need to ask so many questions to be able to narrow down what exactly is wrong with the person. Then you now ask about the person's family. Has it happened in your family? has this even happened before in the
Yeah.
past?
Yeah.
And then we'll ask about your alcohol intake or some conditions associated with alcohol
A lot of
and
conditions.
smoking.
So what
Yes.
was actually wrong with him?
Oh yes, that's a myocardial
Yeah, I had a
infarction,
myocardial
right?
infarction.
But you said you go see.
I had a myocardial
I suspect
infarction.
it's
As
already
she had it.
something
She
they
had
already.
it already. Once I said she just paying, right?
Okay,
She knew it. She just
Now I'm going to give you I have a condition.
Okay.
I'm going to give you both my condition and you give me a diagnosis. So
No
I've been
wahala.
having back pain.
okay.
Right.
I don't want to Felix. Let's go. Okay.
I've been having back pain.
Okay.
It's been there for like more than 3 years.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the pain I feel is more like some burning sensation around my upper back. But sometimes it moves to my middle back, but it doesn't go
Okay.
out
Below.
like below. And sometimes I feel it around my neck. And like when it starts, I feel very restless. And sometimes if it is severe, I can't sit for more than 30 minutes. And I feel like pains around my chest area when it starts and it's severe.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you taken any medications?
Yes, I went for some X-ray and I went to a doctor who said it was a lumbar spondylosis or something.
I just need also compression somewhere.
Yes.
He gave me
Definitely
he took
compression.
me through some what's the name? Some therapy,
Okay.
physiotherapy and stuff,
Yeah.
but it didn't go.
Okay.
It persisted.
Okay.
And I went to TTH, and they also took the history, and then they said it could be some nerves
Yes.
that are, disturbing me.
Yes.
They gave me some medication. It still didn't go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you said, the spondylosis could probably be the major cause because there's probably a herniation in the disc in your spine somewhere. So, as you said, if the pain medications didn't really help, I think they'll probably have to retake an X-ray and then probably plan if they have to actually go for a surgical intervention.
Okay.
Yeah, because you said you had it for how long now?
3
For
years.
three
It's a chronic
years.
condition.
Yes.
Chronic means it's been for
There for
over
long,
for over a while now.
Yeah.
So yes, so that means if your palliative, quote unquote, care isn't working, as in the pain relieving and everything's not working, then probably have to change the course of treatment. That has to
Okay.
do with doing other scans
Okay.
and probably see whether if they can actually surgically correct your spondylosis.
Yeah.
But aside
Does
aside
it-
it being okay,
Does it affect, is it associated with your sitting position as well?
come again.
Does it affect or is it associated with your sitting position?
I'm not sure.
But do you sit a lot?
I sit a lot.
Okay.
I sit
So,
a lot.
like what Bruno said, you will need to do another scan.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is social media, we have to do it behind the scene.
Yeah, and guys, this is
Address
not
is-
like as in we are not trying to tell you that whenever you are feeling this, that's exactly you always have to see your
Yeah,
doctor. But then
Yes.
we are just
Please.
trying to
Please.
see how the process is when
Yes.
That's true.
doctors actually examine patients and all of that.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
okay.
yeah, you go on.
Could there be any other condition aside from it being that's
Spondylosis.
Yeah, it could
Yes.
also be a radiculopathy.
Yes, it could be.
Just the nerves. So
Yeah.
there's a whole lot of things that could be the problem. It could be a bone issue.
Yeah.
It could be a muscle issue. It could be a nerve issue. So to break each one down, the scans,
Yeah, the
we
scans will
tell
help.
which one
is actually
yes,
the
yes.
And you'd be surprised, could be also be TB.
It could also
The
be
TB of the
TB.
spine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could actually cause that. Yeah.
But could something like what's the name? Stomach also cause back pain.
Stomach ulcer.
It can mimic that, but there's another one
Yeah, it
called
can mimic.
acute pancreatitis,
Yeah.
where you initially feel the pain here, then it goes to your back.
Back, okay.
Yes, but also on its own doesn't
Cause back pain.
back pain. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unless it probably maybe it perforates and then probably irritates the nerves at the back. But then if there's no perforation, I don't think ulcer could literally, unless there's an irritation. Yeah, but most of, as you said, pancreatitis, acute pancreatitis radiates to the back. So yes,
Wow.
it could probably be acute
there's a whole
pancreatitis.
lot of-
Yeah, there's a lot of conditions that
I'm
It
could.
could be
sitting here
medical or it
confused.
could be surgical
Yeah.
conditions. but yes.
Okay. So in situation like that, who should I see, or I should just go to a general doctor, and then they will refer
They will
me
refer,
to
yes, but
a
you can,
specialist.
yes,
Okay.
yes, they can refer you to either the orthopedics
Yes.
or neurosurgery.
Wow.
Because, like I said, it could be muscle, bone, nerves. If it's
Exactly.
bones, they take you to orthopedics. If it's nerves, then neurosurgeon.
Neurosurgery.
Nerves and muscle, then
Yeah.
neurosurgeon. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. It's been an amazing conversation. I've learned a lot, today, and then I'm super excited you guys were able to come to share with us your
excited.
I'm
experience.
actually really excited. I'm here
You
too.
know, I'm sure we should do. I mean, this more
More of
often.
this.
so
I
that-
would love that.
yeah.
I mean, we'll be in Tamale for our first year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so yes.
After that, where are you going?
I'll probably go to Volta region myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I want
okay.
to go to Volta region.
Okay,
Or
that's your
even-
hometown.
Yes, I come from Volta
Okay,
region. Yes,
okay,
I come from
okay.
Volta region. So probably Volta region. Yeah.
Okay. All right, but I'm sure you'll be visiting more.
Yes,
often.
we will.
Okay. All right. 'Cause-
Tamale Donya, man.
Definitely. All right, guys. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
coming through.
Thank you
I hope you also
too.
learned a thing or two. I mean, make sure you subscribe to the channel. See you
Subscribe.
in the next
Subscribe,
video.
my
We
niggas.
are.
All right.